Okay, today we're looking at using linear equations to solve problems. Okay, a couple of steps in doing these questions, but first we need to make sure we read the question. If we don't know what we're looking for, we can't actually get the right answer. So make sure you read it and you understand what you're looking for. You need a goal in mind. Secondly, we define a pronumeral and write a statement, such as let x be the number of. It doesn't have to be x. Sometimes the question will tell you which pronumeral to use. If the question doesn't tell you, you can pick any pronumeral you like. Okay, next, write an equation using your defined pronumeral. So that's where you're going to write your own equation. And you're going to use the pronumeral that you defined in the earlier part. Then we're going to solve the equation, same as we've been solving equations in the past. Then, as the question is asked in sentence form, it's not just an algorithm, you're going to present your answer in words. Make sure it's a full sentence and it answers the question. Finally, we need to check that our solution makes sense. Check that it does make sense. Also, check that you are answering the question. Sometimes you've got to find something before you can actually find the answer, and if you haven't got it straight in your mind, you might stop too early and your answer doesn't actually answer the question they've asked. So make sure you check that as well. Okay, looking at our first example. Example 1, 7 is added to 3 times the number and the result is 22. Okay, we need to write the equation using x to represent the number, so they're telling you which pronumeral to use, and solve the equation for x. So looking at section A, write an equation for using x to represent the number. First thing we need to do, read the question. Reading it once for most people is not enough. You need to read it and make sure you've got it right in your head. So changing it to your words is usually the best way to make sure that you do understand what it is. So if I've got 7 is added to 3 times that number and the result is 22. Okay, for me to define and know what I'm looking for, I know that we need to find a number that when the number is multiplied by 3 and 7 is added to it, the answer is 22. The information there is exactly the same as in the question, it's just in my words, so I know that I know what I'm looking for. Okay, next we need to define the pronumeral. The question asks us to use x, so we'll let x equal the number. Okay, we're going to write an equation. Now these questions, some people prefer just to solve them, but marks are awarded for the equation as well. Usually more marks are given to the equation part of the question than solving the equation. So don't just try and skimp out and go just to solving it straight away if you can do it in your head. Okay, we're going to write an equation. So we need to find a number that when the number is multiplied by 3, so the number is 7, the number is x, is multiplied by 3, so we have 3x and 7 is added to it, plus 7 equals 22. Or if I look at it from the original question, I've got 7 is added to 3 times the number, so 7 plus 3 times x equals 22. Either way is fine, it doesn't matter. So we've written the equation. Okay, I'd like you to pause it there and get that part of the example down, please. When you finish, just press play and we'll finish the example. Okay, B, we're going to solve the equation now. So, the equation was 3x plus 7 equals 22. I've just changed it around because this is the way we usually present them. It doesn't matter which way you start with it as long as it's the equation. So it's a two-step equation as we've solved in the last couple of lessons. So first thing we want to do is get rid of the 7, the constant. So that's adding 7 there. We're going to subtract 7 from both sides and I end up with 3x equals 15. Okay, 3 times x, so the opposite is dividing. So let's divide both sides by 3 and we end up with x equals 5. Okay, let's just check write our answer. So we've got x equals 5. The number is 5. It doesn't have to be a long-winded answer. It just has to be a full sentence and answer the question. Finally, we need to check our answer. So we have 7 is added, so 7 plus 3 times the number is 5, so 7 plus 15 is 22. So we've got that one right. Okay, I'd like you to pause that there for me, please. Finish writing that example down, then press play when you're ready to go to the next one. Okay, example 2. Billy has $133 in his account. He's saving $6.50 per week. How long will it take him to save $250? Okay, reading the question. I've read it once, but need to make sure I've got it clear what I'm doing. Okay, we need to find how many weeks he is saving $6.50 per week. How long will it take him to save? So how many weeks? Lots of $6.50 are needed to be added to the 130 he has in his account to make 250. So I think I've got all that pretty clear in my head. You need to make sure that is clear in your head before you start, otherwise you can take the wrong path. Okay, so we need to define a pronumeral. I think this time I'll still go with x, so let x equal the number of weeks. Okay, writing the equation. So we have Billy has $133 in his account, so he's got 133 plus, he's going to put $6.50 per week. So $6.50 times the number of weeks, which is x, equals 250. So that's our equation, 133 plus $6.50 x equals 250. Okay, I'd like you to pause there, get that example down, and press play when you're ready, and we'll finish the example off. Okay, we're going to solve that equation now. So 133 plus 6.50x equals 250. Okay, the constant on that one is 133. That's what we want to get rid of. So if I subtract 133 from both sides, I end up with 6.5x equals 117. Okay, what we're going to do now is divide by 6.5 on both sides so we can get x by itself. And I end up with x equals 18. So I need to answer that. Nowhere in the question did it ask what does x equal, so we need to make sure we answer it properly. How long will it take him to save $250? It will take 18 weeks to save $250. I'm answering the question. Okay, now let's check our answer. We have 133 in his account plus $6.50 per week and 18 weeks equals 250. So we've checked that. Okay, I'd like you to pause there, get the rest of the example down, and we'll do one more example. Okay, example 3. The length of a rectangle is 9 centimetres more than 5 times the width. The perimeter is 258 centimetres. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. Okay, starting point. Read the question. Easiest way when you're dealing with some of these problems in maths is a diagram. It's so much easier than rewriting words. So I've got a rectangle. I've got a width, because it says that the length of a rectangle is 9 centimetres more than 5 times the width. So my length is 9 centimetres plus 5 times the width. So there I've got a length and a width, and also the question has given me the perimeter is 258 centimetres. So that's all the information I've got, and the question's asking me, we need to find the dimensions of the rectangle. So we need to find the width and the length. So you need to be careful, we are not just finding W. Okay, define. I'm going to define the pronumeral as W because I've used it in my diagram. So let W equal the width. We also know that the perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. This is going to be useful because we actually were given the perimeter. Okay, let's write an equation. So we know the perimeter is 258, so we'll put that in. So 258 equals 2 times, let's go 2 times the width first. So 2 times W plus 2 times the length. So 2 times 9 plus 5w in brackets. Okay, so that's the equation. It's not in simplified form. We'll have a look at that the next slide. So what I'd like you to do now is pause that, write that all down, including the diagram. When you're ready, press play and we'll finish the example off. Okay, back to the example. So our equation was 258 equals 2w plus 2 outside of 9 plus 5w. I've brought over the diagram just to remind us. Okay, we need to write that in a simplified form, and the reason we know we have to do that is because we can see the two terms that are like. Okay, we need to simplify that and just collect all the like terms. So firstly, we can't touch the 5w until we expand the brackets. So let's expand the brackets first. So I end up with 258 equals 2w plus 2 times 9 is 18 plus 2 times 5w is 10w. So I end up with 258 equals 12w plus 18 because that 2w and 10w are like terms, we can add them together. So our equation at the end of the question should be 258 equals 12w plus 18, or you can change it around and have 12w plus 18 equals 258. Okay, we're going to solve the question now. So I've changed it around to 12w plus 18 equals 258. Doesn't matter which way you go, but I want the w on the left-hand side, as we normally do. Okay, getting rid of the 18, we're going to subtract 18 from both sides, and I end up with 12w equals 240. Dividing by 12 on both sides, I end up with w equals 20. Now that means our width is 20. The question asked us what were the dimensions, so we do need to work out the dimensions. So remember that the width was w, the length was 9 plus 5w. So in our answer we have the dimensions are the width is 20, and substituting 20 in for the width, we have 9 plus 5 times 20 is 109 centimetres. So your dimensions are 20 centimetres by 109 centimetres. Now you should definitely have those units in there because in the question it was given in centimetres. Okay, let's check our answers. Using the perimeter formula we can do that. We know the perimeter is 258. So I have 2 times 20 plus 2 times 109. Checking that, it is 258 centimetres as required. So that's the end of that example. That one was a little bit harder than the other two. You can stop the PowerPoint there, stop the movie there. Just make sure you've got all the examples in your book. Any problems or you're not sure of anything, make sure you ask in class. Thank you.